Sheboygan Police looking for coin thieves. Highwater threatens Wolf River community. Evers plans to renegotiate Foxconn deal. These stories and more coming up on this edition of Community News Review.
This is Community News Review, a service of WSCS TV, news content provided by WHBL.
I'm Maddie Pfister, and welcome to Community News Review for Monday, April 22nd, 2019. Police in Sheboygan are asking for the public's help to solve an unusual small-scale crime. According to an alert issued by the Wisconsin Crime Alert Network, 3 men are believed to have used a wire coat hanger to steal change from arcade games located in the Sheboygan Econo Lodge. The trio was caught on camera around the machine using the coat hanger to pry the machine open. Police say they may have tried to remove the money box from a second game in their lobby but were unsuccessful. It is unclear how much money they got away with, and the group left behind a pamphlet from Volvo Cars in Chicago and took off in a red minivan. Very few details about the suspects were made available other than they were white males between the ages of 40 and 60. Authorities believe that the man may have pulled off similar heists in other establishments and may be from the Chicago area. A man who worked at a Sheboygan County sober living facility is facing major prison time for allegedly pressuring a resident into having sex with him. 26-year-old Andrew Schmaling of Two Rivers is accused of pressuring the resident into sex and telling her that she would be kicked out of the facility if she did not comply. He is now charged with second-degree sexual assault and could get up to 40 years in prison if convicted. According to the criminal complaint, Schmaling offered to give one of the residents a ride to work on February 12th. Instead of taking her to work, he pulled over and pressured her for sex. Schmaling also allegedly threatened to have her child taken away from her if she did not comply. The criminal complaint says Schmaling did sexually assault her, and another employee at the facility showed police texts from Schmaling about the incident, in which he described it as a moment of weakness. At least 7 students at the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater claimed they were sexually harassed by a former chancellor's husband. According to the University of Wisconsin system, Alan Pete Hill, the husband of Beverly Copper, has been accused of the harassment and has been banned from the campus, although he claims he is innocent. An internal report said some UW-Whitewater employees warned each other about Hill, and Chancellor Copper waited more than 80 days before informing other UW officials about the allegations against her husband. At the time, 3 accusers had come forward, and the additional complaints were filed after initial reports became public. The chancellor did not interfere with the investigation, during which Hill was accused by one woman of running his hand up her skirt, and another claimed he touched her backside. But Chancellor Copper did remove her husband from a list of university volunteers who needed to go through a sexual harassment training program. She resigned in December, but has continued to receive her regular salary until a new chancellor is named. She intends to continue teaching at the UW-Whitewater with a reduced salary this fall. Filling sandbags is not how people in Shiocton expected to spend their Easter Sunday. Residents are filling hundreds of sandbags to prepare for the high waters. According to the National Weather Service, the Wolf River expected to crest at 13 feet 8 inches, just 5 inches shy of the record 14 feet and 1 inch. Diane Butler lives in a flooded street just a block from the river, and she is not alone and this street is completely underwater. Many roads are already closed because of high water, and it is inching closer to the homes. Sandbags are homeowners' last line of defense. Right now, most of the homes are not flooded. Sandbags are just a safety measure. We have sandbagged several homes as precautionary, and some of them are very close. Like here, we sandbags because of the electrical work. Firefighters and residents from neighboring cities all around came out to help, and they filled pallets full of sandbags. Residents hope that the community support is enough to keep the rising water away. Chief Bunnell says just how high the floodwaters will get depends on the snow melt and the rain that falls in communities to the north, like Shawano. A Brookfield man is due to answer questions about breaking his measles quarantine last year. Jeffrey Murawski is scheduled to appear in a Waukesha County courtroom today. Public health managers say he violated his quarantine last year by sneaking out of his house and going to the gym. No one reported getting sick after he left his house, and he reportedly had second thoughts and returned to his home. Murawski told police at the time that he was going crazy and being stuck inside. He was told to stay in his home for 3 weeks until he was no longer contagious. Murawski said he was exposed to measles, but he never became sick. Meanwhile, the city of Milwaukee is issuing a measles vaccine reminder, and there are no confirmed cases of measles in the city, but health managers say they want to be on the safe side. The fear is that the Easter holiday, spring break, and then the summer people may travel to New York or the West Coast, where there have been widespread measles outbreaks. Governor Tony Evers continues to say that he wants to write a new deal with Foxconn. The governor told WKOW-TV in Madison on Sunday and said he thinks that the terms of the original contract with the company are too expensive for the state taxpayers. Some changes could be enacted through the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, and changes that lead legislative approval are unlikely to be prepared through or approved through the Republican-controlled state legislature. Evers said last week that he does not think that Foxconn will ever hire the 13,000 people it is promised to bring on for its factory in Racine County, and the company missed its hiring targets in 2018 and did not qualify for state tax credit this year. Foxconn reiterated its support for the Racine development in statements to Bloomberg News and the Reuters last Friday. The Taiwanese manufacturer also picked Milwaukee for the North American headquarters and has announced businesses ventures in Green Bay, Eau Claire, and Madison. GOP leaders say Evers is trying to ruin the Foxconn agreement to embarrass Donald Trump and to hurt his re-election prospects. Assembly Speaker Robin Vos said that the governor is actively rooting against the largest economic development project in state history. Churchgoers tackled a woman who held a 10-month-old baby and waved a gun and threatened to blow up the building at an Easter service in San Diego, leading to her arrest, said police. The baby and the 31-year-old woman's 5-year-old daughter were taken into protective custody, police said. The handgun was not loaded, and a search conducted by a bomb-sniffing explosive dog found no explosives. The police suspect will be booked into jail on the appropriate criminal charges, which will include making criminal threats and displaying a handgun in a threatening manner. San Diego police said in a statement, and the sermon at the non-denominational church, Sidkenu, was about to conclude when the woman walked on stage. The San Diego Union Tribune reported, citing Pastor Ben Wissane. As people in the church approached the woman, she pointed her gun at them and the baby, ordering people not to come any closer. The Union Tribune said, citing witnesses' comments to On-Scene TV. Members of the congregation were able to subdue her and get the gun away from her. Police arrived moments later to take her into custody. San Diego Police Sergeant Robert Hawkins said, according to the Times of San Diego website, San Diego Police had previously announced there would have extra patrols of churches following the bombing of churches in Sri Lanka that killed more than 200 people and injured at least 450 people. And that is all we have for today. Join me again on Wednesday for more local news and information on Community News Review.
News content for this program provided by WHBL in cooperation with WSCS TV.